Welcome to the Foundry by Forge College. Today, we're rolling out the architectural drafting board for your Solana development. In our last session, we dug into the plumbing, right? We looked at how tags and release markers trigger your automated builds. But today, we're zooming way out. We're looking at the master blueprint. We're talking about repository patterns and integration. And honestly, the physical layout of your code, it literally dictates absolutely everything about how your team works. So here's our blueprint for this explainer. We're going to cover the basic repository blueprint, then tour the mono-repo, what I call the mega mansion, and the multi-repo, our gated communities. After that, we'll break down the integration mechanics, walk through a real-world Solana scenario, and wrap up with a framework to help you make the right call for your project. Let's get to it. All right, Section 1, the repository blueprint. Let's set the stage real quick. Now, you already know tags are those lightweight snapshots, right? And your CI hooks use those tags to fire off automated builds. But that brings up a massive structural question. Where should all this code actually live? I mean, it sounds like a basic housekeeping issue, but it's not. Your repository layout fundamentally changes the game. Choosing whether to group all your related code together or completely split it apart, that completely reshapes your integration touchpoints. It changes where your release tags live, what your build pipeline is actually watching for, and exactly how your team has to coordinate their changes. Which brings us to our first major architectural pattern, Section 2, mono-repo, the mega mansion. So a mono-repo is exactly what it sounds like, right? It's a single repository holding multiple components. Think of it like a giant, sprawling mega mansion where your on-chain Rust programs, your off-chain TypeScript SDKs, the user interfaces, and all your tooling, they all just live under one roof. And the beauty of this house is that walking down the hall to the kitchen to share some code is incredibly easy. You don't need to leave the building, you don't need to ask permission from the neighbors. But the catch is, because everyone's in the exact same space, everybody shares the exact same permission boundaries, the exact same commit history, and the exact same front door for releases. Now let's flip over to the competing architecture. Section 3, multi-repo, or as I like to call it, the gated communities. Okay, so a multi-repo totally flips the script. It isolates each individual component into its own completely separate repository. If the mono-repo was our mega mansion, the multi-repo is a gated neighborhood. Everyone gets their own house, their own property lines, and their own strict rules. And look, this offers amazing privacy and super fine-grained permissions. You could, say, let an external auditor into the SDK house without letting them anywhere near your on-chain program house. But there is a trade-off here. Coordinating a neighborhood block party or, a multi-component software release requires formal invitations, API contracts, and a whole lot of communication across the fences. So how does this actually work under the hood? Let's get into Section 4, Integration Mechanics Explained. When we look at the engineering specs, there are 3 core operations that change pretty drastically here: change detection, dependency management, and release tagging. Let's break this down. In a mono-repo, your CI has to be path-aware. A single code push can trigger tests for multiple components, so you really have to carefully configure your path filters. Otherwise, a simple typo fix in a README could trigger a massive, expensive on-chain compilation, and no one wants that. Now, in a multi-repo, CI is safely repo-scoped. A push to the SDK repo only triggers the SDK pipeline. Simple. As for dependencies, mono-repos use simple workspaces, so code sharing is internal and super fluid. Multi-repos, on the other hand, force you to formally publish semantic versions and consume them via a registry. And finally, tagging. A mono-repo uses one single powerful tag to release the whole stack, while multi-repos require you to meticulously synchronize your tags across all those different locations. All right, let's see how this actually builds out in practice. Section 5, a Solana real-world scenario. Imagine you've got a Solana project. You've got an on-chain Rust program, an off-chain validator, and a TypeScript client SDK. And suddenly, you need to make a breaking API change to a core library that everything else is using. If you're running a mono-repo, this process is incredibly streamlined. First, you just open a single branch. Next, you update the library, the program, and the SDK code all at the exact same time. Finally, you tag the merge commit with a semantic version, like v1.2.0, and you deploy. Boom. Because everything is in one repository, this change is entirely atomic. Your CI tests it all together, and one single tag fires off the deployment for the entire stack. Super clean. Now, let's look at that exact same breaking change, but spread across those gated communities we talked about. This brilliantly illustrates the friction you can get with a multi-repo setup. First off, you have to open a pull request in the library repo and publish a brand new version. Then you hop over to the program repo, update it to consume that new library version, and publish that. Finally, you go to the SDK repo, update it, and then desperately try to coordinate your release tags across all 3 completely separate locations. You end up needing these complex cross-repo CI gates and release manifests just to ensure version compatibility before you can even safely deploy. I mean, it works, absolutely, but it requires some serious synchronization. So how on earth do you choose? Let's move to Section 6, your decision framework. To make the right choice for your project, you really need to evaluate 3 main things. Number 1, ownership boundaries. If your developers are tightly coupled and they're working on everything, honestly, use a mono-repo. But if they're distinct teams that need strict access control, multi-repo is probably your best bet. Number 2, release cadence alignment. Do you release everything simultaneously? Mono-repo. But what if your off-chain scripts evolve daily while your on-chain programs only change once a year? Those independent cadences heavily favor a multi-repo. And number 3, automation maturity. If your setup is pretty simple, stick to a mono-repo. If you have a highly robust DevOps team that can easily handle cross-repo CI triggers, then a multi-repo becomes much more manageable. And by the way, navigating these exact real-world team dynamics and tooling constraints is a huge part of the programs we cover over at Forge College. Software architecture is just as much about the people as it is about the code, right? But, what if you actually need a bit of both? Well, that's exactly where the hybrid pattern comes into play. This approach mixes both strategies to find a nice middle ground. You might keep your tightly coupled core on-chain programs in shared Rust libraries safely tucked away in a mono-repo mega mansion, but then you isolate your rapidly changing, externally consumed developer tooling into their own gated multi-repos. For growing Web3 projects that really want the best of both worlds, meaning atomic refactoring for that core logic, but independent lifecycles for peripheral tools, the hybrid approach is a highly realistic and honestly super popular compromise. So I want to leave you with this final thought to chew on. Which pattern actually minimizes the integration friction for your specific team? Remember, your repo topology dictates where your automation is looking for changes, how your tags map to your final artifacts, and really how easily your developers can move fast without breaking things. So evaluate your release cadence, check your automation maturity, and choose the blueprint that lets you ship with absolute confidence. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. If you want to dive deeper into version control strategies, advanced Solana architecture, and a bunch of other fascinating Web3 topics, make sure to visit forge.college to learn more. Until next time, keep building and keep structuring your code for success.